Really, what I think we should be talking about is the GM candidates, because hopefully in a perfect world, that's the guy that hires the head coach. But one of the names that's out there constantly is Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. And I believe if you put a gun to Cakes' head, that might be his number one choice. Would that be fair?
You wouldn't need to put a gun to my temple to pick Ben Johnson. But, yes, that would be
your number one choice.
He'd be at the top of the list.
I think JP's gone on record yesterday with Doc, and he said it would be Harbaugh. Doc loves Harbaugh. I think Jason seems to be somewhat pro Harbaugh. Maybe if you had to.
I don't think he'll be the guy, but I would probably choose him out of all the other. I mean, look, it's easy to pick the hot, young offensive coordinator guy, right?
Yeah, you identify that guy, you bring him in.
But
hopefully it works out.
But they're the crapshoots.
Good luck to whoever they hire.
Colts have to be happy with Steichen.
Through year one, yeah. I mean, they're vying for a playoff spot.
I didn't even know he was the coach.
That's going to hurt them with Jonathan Taylor sidelined for 2 to 3 weeks.
Nobody talks about Steichen.
Colts are in the playoffs now.
I understand. They're doing reasonably well. When I think of the Colts, though, I think of the quarterback they drafted.
Anthony Richardson.
That's who I think.
Stud.
Yeah, he's out for the year.
I know.
But he showed studly capabilities in the short moment of time he was playing.
All I'm saying is that he's kind of like what Ben Johnson is now. That's what Steichen was last year.
So here's the interesting nugget about Ben Johnson. Did you know there are some links between Ben Johnson and Sam Howell?
I did not know that they had ties.
He's a Carolina guy, right?
He's a Carolina guy. Ben Johnson is a Carolina guy. He was the backup quarterback at Carolina from a walk-on quarterback from 2004 to 2007. In fact, I think there's at some point maybe he was doing a podcast or something. And there's video of Mark Brunell or something, and Sam Howell and Brian and Ben Johnson working together at a Senior Bowl or something.
Interesting.
So if Ben Johnson, he turned down the Panthers and the opportunity to have the number one pick and all that, and probably largely because of the owner.
The Tepper, right? Yeah, Tepper's nightmare.
I saw Dan Snyder's name trending yesterday, and I'm like, why is Dan Snyder trending?
Yeah.
It's because everybody was comparing Tepper to Snyder.
Yep.
By the way, did you see where Snyder was over Thanksgiving?
No.
The Snyder tracker, the yacht tracker guy.
I mean, I don't really
I'm gonna
care
guess
where
somewhere
Dan Snyder
in Europe.
was, but
I think he was in Singapore.
Okay.
Jeez.
Is that like Malaysia, or is that the same thing or no?
Sounds right.
You're testing my geography capabilities.
I think he was last in Singapore.
Okay.
What's a very rich country?
Yeah. I mean,
it's an island.
It's just bizarre that's where Dan would be. But do you think that connection
is enough to persuade him?
And his affinity for Carolina and for that, it maybe intrigue, would that be enough for Ben Johnson if given the opportunity? Do you think he would take the job if he turned down the Panthers?
Yes, I think he would.
I mean, the Panthers are going to make another run at him. Maybe David Tepper ups his offer, makes it more lucrative. I mean, he's not going to hold back money-wise. We know he doesn't care about
I guess you would take it. I guess you would take it for the money, but I mean, you've already turned him down once. You've seen that he just fired the last coach.
He doesn't want Bryce Young.
He's going to get multiple interviews.
Yeah, I mean, he's
right.
He's going to be one of the hottest guys out there.
Let's work with Bryce Young at this point or Sam Howell.
Probably from what both of those guys have put on tape this year, he'd probably pick Sam Howell.
And given that Howell's a Carolina guy,
there might be some attraction there.
I think it's going to be irrelevant to his choice.
So, do you think if the Skins offered him the gig, he would take it? Ben Johnson. He turned down Carolina.
Depends on what other offers he has this year.
Why would it be irrelevant? I think he would take the best.
No, the Carolina ties to me is irrelevant. He's already shirked that.
Oh, I got you.
Shirked that by
turning down Carolina.
That's a little different than fellow Tar. You get to coach a fellow Tar Heel.
I'm sure there are Tar Heels on the Panthers roster.
Not starting quarterbacks.
Who knows if he likes Sam Howell to be the starting quarterback?
He might not, but I'm guessing
Ben Johnson?
That might be
early
40s. 38 to 39, I believe.
He's not that
37.
old. He was a walk-on quarterback from 2004 to 2007.
Yeah. Well, let's just say there's 7 jobs open, or 6 or 7 jobs. He's going to get multiple.
You think
interviews.
he's going to get multiple offers?
Well, I don't know about offers, but interviews.
Yeah, I would guess everybody that has an opening
is
going to have Ben Johnson on their list to interview. So
Okay.
he'll do
I would
6 or
think he would
7
do-
interviews.
I agree. But is he going to get 6 or 7 offers?
No,
I don't know.
probably not.
I think it's unlikely.
He's 37.
Yeah.
Very young.
Went to high school in Asheville.
You said that there is a list on CBS Sports of young
Yeah, they graded
quarterbacks.
the young quarterbacks.
I want you to go through that with us.
All right, they graded the young quarterbacks from
What do they consider young?
first and second year.
So no Justin Fields.
No Justin Fields. But
So give me the guys, and then we'll
all
sketch
right,
their order.
They graded the week, and then they graded the season. They gave
that's what we've gone through that before.
yeah, and then they have high caliber throws and low caliber, and then they have a little summary. But anyway, Chris Trapasso did it.
Yeah, we've gone through this list before.
Well,
It's
yeah,
updated.
But this
It's
is updated from
every
this
week.
week.
I understand,
Yeah.
but we've gone through this list before.
Yeah, of course. So Brock Purdy,
Well, Brock had a good week,
they
right?
gave him a B+ for the week and a B- for the year. It's fair.
It's pretty low for Brock
I think
Purdy.
that's low, yeah.
He's
For-
leading the NFL in QBR and passer rating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you give him an A?
For the season?
You give
I
him an
think
A for
Brock
the season?
Purdy
I would give him
overall,
an A.
He had that one stretch where he was turning the ball over. You know, he had 5 turnovers in 2 weeks.
I know.
I think
2
Brock
weeks, but
Purdy
on the
overall
whole-
should be an
whole, he
MVP
gets
I
an
think
A.
a B is probably fair.
for the
I would,
season, I
I'd
think
probably
he's
give him an A.
got to be
I mean,
higher.
look, McCaffrey makes that offense go. So, all right, we can debate that. Aiden O'Connell, they gave him a B for the week, and they gave him a C+ for now. He's small sample size. He's only played in 5 or 6 games. C+ for the year. Tommy DeVito, who's won his last 2 games, gave him a C- for the week and a C- for the year.
I think that's fair.
Probably fair. His numbers were pretty good against Washington, but they were just okay against New England.
Everybody's numbers are good against Washington.
Now, just to put this in
Wait till you see
context,
Tua's numbers.
before you get to Hal,
Yeah.
Trapasso has had him fairly high in the past. In
Yeah.
fact, you might even had him ahead of Purdy or just behind Purdy at one point, I remember.
By the
Maybe
way,
4 or 5 weeks ago.
His Purdy grade is a B for
B.
the season.
B minus, I thought you said.
B- for the season.
19 touchdowns with only 6 picks.
No, I think it's heinous. I think
QBR 75.6.
no, he's an A.
What else can he do?
He's an A. I don't know.
He
That's
says,
crazy.
I think he's just
He's just
I
disrespecting
think
him
he-
because he plays for a good team.
well. I think he's penalizing for that one little stretch where he was turning the ball over a lot, and he
2 games.
his summary for Purdy says it's a machine-like effort from the 49ers offense as a whole against the Seahawks on Thanksgiving. Really, only 2 awesome throws and 2 mishaps from Purdy in this one. So, again, he gave him a B+ for the week, but you can debate on the season grade. All right, who did I give you last? All right, Bryce Young. For the week, he gave you a C-.
Okay. For the
Year, he's
season,
got to be a D.
It's a D+ for the year, yeah. I mean, they're 1-10, and he's obviously turned the ball over a bunch. Dorian Thompson-Robinson for Cleveland, he gave him also small sample
I'm going
size.
a D and a D, I'd say.
Gave him a B- for the week and a C- for the
I
year.
saw why did he only play like half the game or whatever? When I looked at the box,
I think he got dinged up. Didn't
he
he
just
get,
got hurt and they pulled him
think
because his
he got-
numbers
Yeah.
weren't
Is he
bad.
in the concussion protocol?
I think it was concussion.
His
have to look that
numbers
up.
weren't bad.
No. Well, that's why they gave him a B- for the week.
Yeah.
Sam Howell.
For the week, I'm going to say he gave him a C- or D.
He gave him a D+ for the week.
All right.
But he gives him a
Same
B-
thing.
equal to Purdy for the year.
Yeah, I think Purdy's been better than Hal. So,
Yeah,
and
I
I
mean,
like
way
Hal.
better.
I like Hal.
He's been more efficient.
So
and
for him to give the
less
same grade
turnovers.
as Purdy is kind of strange to me. And I'm pro Hal.
I just put it up as the Junkies poll of the day brought to you by Van Meter Homes. What would your grade be for Sam Howell this season? I think B- is fair.
I think it's fair.
I think that's fair. I think
it's
it's just too low for Purdy.
Oh, way too low.
B
for
or
Purdy.
B- for Hal.
I'd give Purdy at least an A-.
Yeah, he gets it. I mean, yeah, for sure.
He's number 1 in the NFL in QBR, number 1 in passer rating, 19 touchdowns with only 6 picks.
But not
Like,
everyone.
What's holding?
Not everyone looks at the QBR
Sure.
and the passer rating and then grades it based on those numbers.
I know, but what if they played
'Cause
11 games? So he's had 9 pretty
yeah.
good ones and 2 duds, 2 bad ones.
He's
But
got
I
the
think, I think he.
he's got the rep as a game manager, but I can't remember who did the video and was just breaking down one throw, and it was saying people are calling him a game manager, and Shanahan talked about this after the game in his presser. Like, he broke down a particular play and he explained the coverage, and he said, well, this play is designed for quarterbacks to throw the check down here because Seattle was dropping back all of their guys in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And Purdy, he goes, and if he takes the check down, he goes, most quarterbacks take the check down. That's 12 yards. That's a really positive play. But Purdy decided to throw over top of two guys and in front of two guys, like he can make the throws.
I think
I think he definitely
I think Trapasso he's definitely grading Purdy at a B- because of the strength of the overall offense and McCaffrey.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's holding it against him.
He might be. He
Yeah.
might be.
Can you read
And we'll find this out because they're going to play Philadelphia, and then obviously in the playoffs you're going to play some really good teams. Can Brock Purdy make the big throws in the fourth quarter, down 7 or 10, when you really need to go down there and score on the road?
I think
We're gonna find that out.
By the way, I
Yeah.
would take the Eagles getting 3 points at home all day long. That's the bet of the week.
Eagles versus who?
The Niners.
Yeah,
Aren't
it's
they
this
due a
week.
letdown, though?
It's a huge game.
They've
They might be,
survived
but I'll
4 straight
take them
scares.
catching points at home. If I were betting this
Oh, you
game,
get Eagles +3?
yes.
Yeah, I like that.
This is what he says about
How? Give me a how
How?
for the season.
He-
Yeah, read both.
B-.
It's fine. I know, but I'd like to hear what he says.
Well, he just gives him the summary for the year. He said, I
Okay.
mean, for the week. He says not Hal's best effort of the season, although spotlight of Thanksgiving in Dallas didn't appear too big for him until late in the contest when the score got out of hand.
Yeah, when the game was out of hand, he's throwing every play, and that guy Bland is literally the Cowboys were jumping every throw.
But again, for the year, B-, like I said, that's
I think
probably
B-
fair.
is fair. B-.
Kenny Pickett, he gave a B+ for the week because they did put up over 400
He has
yards.
to
Yeah,
get
like
C-
407
or D
yards.
for the year.
He got a C for the year. Will Levis for the week, C.
The thing about Pickett is
For the year,
I think he
C+.
only has 4 interceptions this year.
Right, and
Yeah.
4 touchdowns.
I think 6.
Yeah.
I'd have to check.
And then C.J. Stroud, he gives a B, also a B- for the year and a B+ for the week.
That
Wow,
also
and you
seems
could also-
A
crazy.
B- for the year for Stroud. For
Yeah.
what
This
he's doing
also
as a
seems
rookie.
crazy.
It
That
seems
seems
like
crazy.
You know what? I wouldn't want him grading anything from me
He's
in
a
high school.
hard grader.
So
He's a tough grader.
So no A's on any week or any season from Trapasso.
He's a hard grader. Although I'm not sold on C.J. Stroud being some superstar. I mean, he certainly had a great start, but I got to see more.
He's had a couple really good game-winning drives.
He's been very impressive as a rookie.
Against
And he's
Tampa,
angry.
let me tell you, against Tampa, that drive was uber impressive a few weeks ago. When he gets the ball back with less than a minute left, I think they had 1 timeout, and they need a touchdown to win it, and he drove them down for a touchdown to win it
Just think about their
quickness.
their draft and personnel war room for the next 8 or 10 years. They don't have to worry about a quarterback. They can approach every draft and say, we've got quarterback good.
They
We're
think
settled
they,
here.
They hope that.
Well, I mean, not everything is a straight line up, but if he keeps building on his rookie campaign, they're not going to have to worry about it. What a luxury. Must be nice to have that.
Well, there's going to be a bunch of teams that'll be looking for that in the draft. But
I didn't understand
then
Tepper's presser yesterday. Was Tepper was saying that all of them agreed that they were going to take C.J. Stroud if they had the number 2 pick, right?
Yes.
And that the expectation was that Bryce Young was going to go number 1. And then I think he was saying that when they traded up to number 1, that they all agreed to take Bryce Young.
Mhm.
But it was a little unclear.
Look, he's a weirdo. He's a guy that hasn't really acclimated to running an NFL
Has
team.
he gone-
I think he's saying that they like both quarterbacks, but they assumed Houston was going to take Bryce Young if they were number 1, so they were happy with Stroud at number 2. But once they had the number 1 pick, they liked Bryce Young over Stroud.
Right. He's claiming that it was unanimous.
Yeah, probably unanimous. 'cause
Although
he's
some
I don't
people
know.
say
we,
that-
we heard that Frank Reich did not want.
I know,
It's
but you
just-
never know.
That's
It's
the
like-
rumor out there
That's
that
the
he did
Charlie Norv thing, like Charlie didn't want Heath Schuler, but Norv did. Like who knows? People back off when they start. Same thing with Shanny. Shanny didn't really want RG3. Dan did.
Although
You know
I
what mean?
heard
That's-
Kyle this week all of a sudden has had like all these clips go viral. He went into the whole RG3 draft that he wanted Kirk Cousins in the 2nd round, that his dad wanted Russell Wilson in the 4th round, and his dad always wanted to take 2 quarterbacks.
Hold on, did Russell Wilson go in the
He went in the 3rd.
third.
of the RG3 draft?
The way that Kyle said it,
That's not right.
he said
No.
That is
well,
right.
What,
Yes.
2012?
Yes.
Yeah.
Russell
So
Wilson.
Andrew
he's
Luck-
been in the league 11
he
years.
said that his dad wanted Tannehill. okay, which is not something great. But he said his dad wanted Tannehill.
Right.
Once they took RG3, then things changed. His dad said to him, do you still want your guy who he wanted in the second round?
Yeah.
And he said, well, Kyle told his dad, well, things have changed. You know, we took RG3. He said, no. He goes, I want to take 2 quarterbacks. So they ended up taking Kirk where they did, but his dad had wanted Russell, but they
That's
obviously
called the
didn't have a
Valdez,
chance.
by the way. That's what Shandy did. Pulled the Valdez,
Yeah.
draft a bunch of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I've always maintained you go back to pre-draft. Russell Wilson was my guy. I mean, it's documented.
Backpadding machine goes
it's
back 11
documented.
years.
RG3
I said,
was also your
don't
guy.
shake your head.
RG3 was also your
Carson
guy.
Wentz
He
was
didn't
also
want
your,
to be out here.
Carson Wentz is also your guy.
Russell Wilson was
Yes,
the guy
you liked
I hyped
Russell
up.
Wilson.
Hyped
You
him up.
liked Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was my guy. And then
Hey,
Robert
look,
adopted him.
All of us have had guys that have blown up in our faces. Your guy was Carson Wentz. My guy was Trey Lance. Everybody's got a
By the
guy.
way, did you see who was that player? Was he on the Seahawks? It went up to Carson, and he said, "You're a legend, man. I just wanted." Did you see, it went viral.
Yeah.
Did you see that clip?
Because
Yeah,
he thought he was
Rick
Matt
Wallen.
Stafford.
Who was it?
It was Reek Wallen, our cornerback. I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah,
who
yeah.
it
He was very, very
Complimentary, yeah.
generous and complimentary towards Carson.
Well, most people thought that he thought it was Matthew Stafford.
Is that
That's
true?
pretty funny.
That's what the way that I read the story.
Oh, I would find that hard.
Jeez.
I would find that hard to believe. But okay.